This week, I got on board the world's longest Boeing 737 flight. The pilots park in the wrong space, and I tried to make a 35-minute connection including customs, collecting bags and walking to another terminal as I take a flight to New Zealand on a Malaysian Boeing 737 MAX 8. Welcome back to Perth in Western Australia. I've had an absolutely incredible time here over the last few weeks, trying out loads of cool airlines and doing loads of really awesome stuff. But alas, as always, it's time to start heading home. But not before we've stopped off at one really cool little country along the way, because today it's time to head across to New Zealand. Now, I could have taken a nice non-stop flight with Air New Zealand across to Auckland tonight on a Dreamliner with a lie flat bed in the works, but I found an even cooler way to get there, which is going to be pretty awesome, because today I'm flying on a Malaysian airline called Malindo Air or Batik Air. I've flown on them before. They fly MAX 8s and they do a route from here in Perth across to Auckland on a 737, 7 hours on a MAX 8. So that's what we're going to be doing as soon as we can check in. Hello. How you doing?
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Checking in for Auckland, please. Or is this yours? Oh, yeah, do you need that? I was just on the phone here.
Sorry.
It's alright, no, it's okay. I didn't want anybody to walk
Sean,
off
you
with.
want this as voice or?
Doesn't look like the sort of thing that people should be grabbing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are you checking in any luggage?
I am. I've got one, please. Alright then, all checked in for Batik Air. I've got to get my water drink before I get through security, because I can't take that through. Nice and easily done there. Let's go through. It's actually Batik Air that are operating this flight. It used to be Malindo Air, but they've changed their name again. I don't know, I can never keep up with them. But they're called Batik Air, and it's apparently quite a new flight on the run from Perth to Auckland. So let's go and get through security. And there we go, security all done, nice and easy. Right, let's get through to the lounge. Apparently we're in the Aspire lounge. Let's go and find it.
53, all other passengers.
Doors closing.
Thank you.
Floor 3. Doors opening.
How you doing?
Sorry, I'm trying to get a technician out. It's really fun. Nobody wants to come to the airport.
Oh no, IT issues.
Happens a lot here.
I used to be on the other end of that. I used to work in IT, so it's probably me that was the one that was.
Have you turned it off and on again?
Yeah,
Hello IT, have you tried turning it off and on again?
Do you ever
That's
watch
it.
the IT crowd?
I did,
I
yes.
was going to say, obviously.
That was
right?
our mantra. That was.
Have you tried to turn it on and off?
Yeah.
Amazing. Have you been to the lounge here with us before?
No, first time.
Amazing. So with your business class, you get the premium package.
Okay.
So you get premium spirits, you get cocktails, beers, wines, soft drinks, juices,
okay.
coffees, teas, full buffet, and the use of the showers if you like.
Lovely.
Just show them your little stamp at the bar.
Thank you very much.
Keep an eye on one of the 5 boards throughout the
Yeah,
bar, just
okay.
because we don't do overhead announcements.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you very much.
Thanks
Cheers.
so
Hope you get your IT fixed.
Thank you.
See you in a bit.
The Aspire Lounge here is quite new and it's actually really nice. There's a downstairs area with a bar and loads of seating areas, but the really cool part is here upstairs in the old ramp control tower, where you get a panoramic view of the action outside.
Alright, then made it to the Aspire Lounge here. This place is flipping sweet. It's got an actual viewing terrace. There's your view. You can sit up here and just watch the planes while you chill out waiting for your flight. And I've got a nice view of a lovely beaten up old scooped Dreamliner out the window. Look at the state of that. That's not incredible. Oh gosh, that's bringing back haunting memories of last time I flew on one of those things. Anyway, a couple of hours till the flight, so yeah.
I have to be honest, I didn't really spend much time exploring the lounge here. Sitting on the viewing terrace watching the planes with a glass of whiskey was all the entertainment I needed, and before too long I spotted my plane arriving halfway through its marathon 14-hour flight to pick me up and take me the rest of the way to Auckland, New Zealand.
Alright then, my plane's here. It's just arrived. There it is, look. It's Batik Air. So there is my ride over to Auckland tonight. It's a Boeing 737 MAX 8 operated by Batik Air of Malaysia. Now, I actually never knew that this airline operated this route. I was actually looking originally at flying with Air New Zealand across to Auckland from Perth on a 787, but then I noticed that Batik Air fly this 737 MAX 8 from Kuala Lumpur down to here. It's a 7-hour flight. Then they continue on another 7-hour flight from here to Auckland, making a 14-hour stretch on this MAX 8 with a little stop to refuel here in Perth.
that is a brutal flight on a Max 8, 14 hours on a Max 8, and I actually, strangely enough, one of my Patreons is on this flight, and I'm hoping to bump into him on the flight as well, because he's doing the full flight from KL all the way through to Auckland, 14 odd hours on a Max 8, ouch. Just hope that the doors stay on.
And I wouldn't have too long to find out, as pretty soon boarding was announced and it was time to climb on board the 737 for the long overnight schlep to New Zealand.
Oh yeah, you're right, thank you. Swap the lanes on this.
Thank you so much.
Thanks very much, have a good day.
I think they were changing crew here.
Yeah, they've just got a load of new crew came on now, so. Yeah, what's the service like?
Actually, it was fine.
Yeah.
It was fine. They gave us a meal service just after we took off. It's got IFL though, very weird.
Hey there, how are you? Thank you.
Batik's Max 8 has 3 rows of business class in a 2-2 config, with the rest of the plane in a standard 3-3 economy configuration.
Alright, then welcome on board the Batik Air Boeing 737 MAX 8. Now this aircraft has just come in from Kuala Lumpur. Some people going straight through 14 hours on a MAX 8 in total. That is a flipping long sector, but this seat isn't too bad. Business class, you've got these 2-2 configurations at the front here, not too bad. I'm in row 1, quite nice. TV screen up there, we'll check that out later in the flight. We've got blankets and stuff down here and pillows. I don't know whether I'm going to get much sleep. It's a 6-hour overnight flight to Auckland, but yeah, we'll see how it goes, really.
As I tried not to destroy the aircraft, the cabin crew came around with pre-takeoff drinks, and pretty soon we were pushing back for the flight to NZ. Tonight then took us on a southeasterly track across the Great Australian Bight before flying overhead Melbourne. From there we crossed the Tasman Sea before descending into Auckland. Flight time tonight, 6 hours and 8 minutes, cruising at 35,000 feet.
So the reason that this flight is a bit weird, aside from it being a continuation of an already long flight, to make a 14-hour flight on a 737, this is what's called a fifth freedom flight, which means that an airline that isn't based in either country that it operates between has the right to be able to sell tickets on this flight. You can actually book a ticket from Perth to Auckland, just as I've done today. And that's interesting because it's the only competition now to Air New Zealand on the direct flight from Perth to Auckland. And yes, okay, Air New Zealand have the flatbed and everything going on, but Air New Zealand are also a lot more expensive than Batik Air are. So interestingly, we've now got some competition on this route. Part of me wonders whether Batik Air are going to start getting a few more Fifth Freedom routes within Australia as well. They already fly to places like Brisbane, Sydney, places like that. Who knows what else we could see there. They've got this route now. Where else could they connect through in Australia as well?
The in-flight entertainment was pretty basic. They had a few TV shows and movies, but nowhere near as much as Air New Zealand have on the same route. For an overnight flight, I guess it's not much of an issue as most people would be resting, but on a daytime flight it might be an idea to bring your iPad.
Now Batik Air used to be called Malindo Air. They are part of the Lion Air group, who are a low-cost airline over in Indonesia. I've flown with them before. They're very low cost, think Ryanair but on a budget. Batik Air sort of sell themselves as the premium airline in the Lion Air group, a full-service airline if you will. And it's true, they don't charge extra for bags and things. They've got a business class up here at the front. I think we get food and stuff on this flight as well. But they still go quite heavy on the hard sell for certain things. If you want food in the back, you have to pay for it. It's all paid for food. Whereas in business class, you get your meal included. And they've just come on after takeoff, and they're basically flogging upgrades to business class during the flight, which is interesting. I've never been on an airline where they do that before. And they said, oh yeah, we've got some seats in business class, so even though I've got a seat at the side of me at the minute, I might not have that free for the rest of the flight. But hey, I haven't paid for that seat, I've paid for this seat. Maybe I'll see if they'll flog me that seat as well, to guarantee it. As my Apple Watch quite helpfully reminded me that taking a 21-minute walk on board a Boeing 737 would close my exercise ring, and I wondered just how I'd achieve that, it was soon time for dinner. Right, so dinner has turned up and I've gone for the Thai green curry tonight. I didn't quite hear what she said some of the options were. I think they've got a few dishes, Western dishes and things as well, but I fancy a curry, so let's get it eaten. It comes on a nice little tray like this. It even comes with a cob as well, which is warm. A nice warm cob. I love it when it's warm. But I'm not going to eat it probably. I might have a little bit, but it might be good. It comes with an awful lot of rice and not with a lot of meat, but let's try it. Ooh, and that is lovely. And it's nice and spicy too. Oh, very good.
It's time for the Noel Phillips Lou Review.
Alright then, time for the Batikare Lou Review. Got my Lou Review t-shirt on, which you can get in the merch store at noelphillips.com. Of course, it's a very tiny 737 bathroom. An air freshener there, obviously Malaysian writing up the wall, hand basin there, bathroom, toilet, not too bad, all in all. Service so far has been pretty good, the food was pretty decent as well. I'm hoping to try and get some sleep, and fingers crossed we make up for some of this delay on the rest of the flight now, because yeah, I've got a bit of a tight connection I think. Well, it wasn't tight, but it is now over in Auckland, so we'll see, fingers crossed. But anyway, let me use the loo and get back to my seat.
That was the Noel Phillips Lou Review.
Alright then, so I've got my seat back to try and get some sleep. It actually goes back quite a way, this seat, if you look at it compared to the one at the side of me. It goes quite comfortable. And we've got these nice little wing things, so hopefully I can try and get some sleep a little bit anyway. We arrive in about 4 or 5 hours into Auckland, so I don't know how much sleep I'm going to get, if any, but let's see. We'll see you in the morning. Good night. Now, I seem to spend half my life travelling around the world, and like anyone who travels around the world regularly will tell you, getting access to your favourite streaming services on the go can be pretty difficult. Services like HBO Max and Peacock are pretty much impossible to get hold of outside the US, which means whenever I want to watch my favourite TV shows like The Office, well, it can be pretty hard, really.
That's what she said. Or he said.
So it's thanks to this week's video sponsor Surfshark that I'm able to watch the TV I enjoy anywhere I travel in the world. Surfshark's a VPN that lets you appear as if you're in a different country when you connect to the internet, which means that I can watch my favourite TV shows anywhere in the world. Even better, it means I get to catch up on my British TV while I'm here in the States. It's a win-win. Aside from that, it keeps your internet connection nice and secure, even in countries that closely monitor your internet access and maybe even block certain websites. To install Surfshark, all you do is install the software, press the button to connect, and hey presto, you're connected anywhere in the world you want to be from, and that has some serious benefits. It means thanks to Surfshark I can get my fix of young Sheldon in India, I can watch David Attenborough in Africa, or even catch up on Only Fools and Horses here in Miami. Surfshark's giving you 3 months absolutely free when you use my promo code Noel Phillips at surfshark.deals/Noel Phillips. That's surfshark.deals/Noel Phillips. I didn't get the best night's rest on this flight, I do have to say, but because of this I did get a great view of Melbourne lit up under the clouds before the sun started rising over the Tasman Sea as we got closer to Aotearoa. Alright, we've started our descent then down into Auckland. I managed to get about probably an hour, maybe 2 hours sleep, but I can see Auckland in the distance. We are currently about 50 minutes late, so that's going to be fun. I've got a connection down there in Auckland, so who knows if I'm going to make it or not. We'll figure it out soon enough, I guess. But yeah, almost there. The descent into Auckland as the sun started to rise on a new day did feel incredibly special. It's been about 20 years since I've spent any time in NZ, and I was really looking forward to what one of my favourite countries had in store.
to Auckland cost me $938 US, 750 quid, or roughly 1400 Aussie Roo-bucks. For reference, Air New Zealand wanted roughly double this for the same flight, but with a flatbed. As we pulled onto the stand though, it seemed that my New Zealand adventure might have to wait for a little while longer at least. We pulled onto a stand and then sat waiting. And waiting. And waiting some more, for about half an hour actually. In the end, with no announcement from the flight deck, a pushback tug was attached, and it turned out that the pilots had in fact parked in the wrong space.
Right, so we parked on the wrong stand an hour late, and they still get the wrong parking spot.
Once we'd been pulled onto the right parking space, we had to wait a little bit longer as the crew hadn't sprayed the cabin before we landed.
Morning. Close the door again. Hi folks, everybody's going to sit back down please.
Ladies and gentlemen, the car to biosecurity and health requirements. The aircraft cabin will now be treated with an aerosol insecticide. The procedure and product is recommended by the World Health Organization.
Once the spraying was complete, we were finally allowed to leave the aircraft, with any hopes of me making my connection seemingly vanished into thin air.
Alright, so we finally got the right parking spot after they moved us. Then we had to wait for them to do the spraying down the cabin thing. We're now an hour and 40 minutes after we should have arrived. I don't think I'm making this next flight that leaves in 50 minutes from the other airport terminal here, after going through immigration and getting my bag as well. Let's see.
Thankfully at this time of the morning, passport control was fairly empty, and after finding out if I needed to declare me Tim Tams...
I don't know if I have anything to declare. I've got chocolate in my bag, just chocolates I bought from Australia. Is that going to be okay? Yeah, no worries, thank you.
I was able to head through and wait for me bag.
Hello. Wonderful, thank you. Okay, got my bag. It's now 7:20. My flight leaves at 8 o'clock from the domestic terminal, so I've got 40 minutes. That's not happening realistically. It's going to take me 15 to walk, I think. Plus, then obviously they'll be closing the gate like half an hour or so before the flight, so I don't think I'm going to make that flight anyway. Let's go and see what we need to do.
The walk to the domestic terminal in Auckland takes about 10 minutes, and with just another 30 minutes until my flight departed, let alone adding in time to check in and for the boarding gate to be closed 15 minutes before departure, I was pretty certain I'd miss my connection to Wellington.
Alright, made it to the terminal at 7:35. Hoping beyond hope I'm going to have enough time to get on the plane to Wellington. Let's see. Holy crap, I actually made it. Wow. Morning. There we go. Thank you. Have a good day.
You too, thank you.
As I headed downstairs to the plane, I still couldn't quite believe it that I'd actually managed to get from one plane to another in 35 minutes, including that Auckland shuffle across to the other terminal.
Well, here we are then, on board. I can't believe I actually made that connection. 35 minutes from the international terminal to domestic. Oh, incredible. Right, but I'm on the plane anyway, and we're off to Wellington. I was hoping to finish this video here in Auckland, but I'm going to have to finish it down in Wellington now.
As we cruised down to Wellington, I got a great view of Mount Taranaki, an incredible sight that I've not seen for almost 20 years, but somehow feeling even more special today.
Alright then, made it to Wellington. I have no idea how I made that connection up in Auckland, but I did, and I've made it here ready to start my next adventure. Well, Batik Air then, well, they weren't the best, were they? Let's face it, a little bit of a comedy of errors situation going on there. I am glad that I made that connection, but it was flipping difficult, especially considering I'd left myself 3 hours between flights, knowing that I had to get between terminals, and the fact that they, well, still managed to screw it up. I don't know, but never mind. Let me know what you thought to them down in the comments. If you were doing that flight, would you take them over Air New Zealand, or would you just try and save the stress and just go on Air New Zealand and pay a little bit more. I don't know. I know which one I'll be doing next time anyway. But oh, look, a massive eagle. 2 massive eagles, wow. Well, in the meantime, then I'm here in New Zealand about to kick off my NZ adventure, and I've got loads of cool stuff coming up over the next few videos, so make sure you stick around so you don't miss them. Anyway, in the meantime, as always, thanks so much for watching. Take care, be kind to one another, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.